stage, you're more likely to engage with the show. I fully understand that many of you are complete skeptics, and I am indeed that quack I've already described myself as. So, let me introduce you to Jacqueline Reynolds. In this evening's performance, she will play the part of Jean Harlow. She has lots of makeup on. She is wearing a hairpiece. She is wearing a beautiful green dress. But she isn't the baby I once knew and loved. She is, however, a reminder to all of you that some people live on. Some people never truly die.
Here on Ghosts of Hollywood Past, we tour the show around the world in search of the mysterious and the paranormal. Under the guidance of psychic investigator Dale Torrance, let us take you on a journey to the other side of life.
So I used to present a late night chat show. Guys would call in, I would patch them through. I was kind of like a switchboard operator, really.
Yeah, on Taryn's show, things could genuinely get a little racy.
Well, sometimes, yeah, but I was pretty good at moving things along quickly.
It was definitely a traumatic experience.
We do have one thing left over from this night that none of us can explain.
I've seen the footage. It looks like the actress I know as Jacqueline Reynolds, who plays Jean Harlow in my show, The Life I Only Knew. Yeah, to me, that footage, it's Jackie.
We can't work out how she's got in those shots.
Now, let's not forget the horrible twist amongst all this. Taryn's alive, yes, but there is a missing persons report out on Jackie.
Jackie? Well, whoever she was involved in something much bigger.
No one has actually seen Jackie since the night this all unfolded.
Strangest episode of my life.
I need all of you to understand. We are the team. We have to work as a unit. And every step, we need to follow a working timeline. That means, again, scrutinize every word she says, every statement she makes, but, and this is the big but, assume everything she is saying to be false.
It's the first letter of the story on every page. It spells out who I am.
You were taken away at age 3.
Told you earlier. I was a very precocious child. I could read by 2, and at 3 I could write my own name. I never forgot who I was. Things changed when I got older because people were nice to me and I had stability. I didn't have a reason to survive. those people I was with, they did love me. I was the accessory they wanted, and then they came to hate me because I slowly understood that something was amiss. If my grandma hadn't told me that I used to live in a camper van, I would never have understood my life. Why did I get taken seriously? Everyone thinks I'm lying. It might take some time to read, but every thought I could ever picture is written down in those files. Every day with that new family, I wrote a journal entry. And every day before that, I just looked for a date.
We're on something of a precipice here.
We were on our way to Denmark or Finland, but I think it was actually Norway. It took a long time to get there, but one of the men said that this was the final transition. There was a family and they were going to pick me up as their child if they gave them enough money. Do you know why they needed the money? One of the men was dying. He needed an operation, and I was the price. You see, whoever those men who had taken me were, they were clever enough to make me somebody documented and real.
And that's how you came to be with the family that we've taken you from.
I think so. There's lots about it in the diary, but from the top of my head, the fact you want is a figure. I was 125,000 euros. They didn't care that I had beach clothes and jelly shoes in the freezing cold in the middle of Norway. They cared that I was traceable and had accurate documentation, and that's why I was 125,000 euros.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. What would you like to do?
I want to go through with everything.
You're not her. It's a parallel situation. Things match up, yes, but you are not the person you claim to be.
Tell me that when you've read the diary. Tell me that when you have a revelation at 3 a.m.
We're going to go to the hotel. We're going to have something to eat. And we are going to talk about exactly what we are going to do next.
Do you know what they used to call me? They used to call me Jack. Jack Dawkins. Jackie or JD. That was my nickname on the beach. I was the cute little girl who could steal your holiday money and credit cards with a twinkle in her eye. Twinkle? They cut my eye out. I woke up one morning and there was a patch on my eye. They said it had got infected from a wasp sting. I don't know, but when you're a grubby little kid on the beach with a pirate patch and a dead eye, no one's going to associate you with publicity. They hid me in plain sight.
How good is the vision in your right eye then?
As good as an eagle.
What's that sign? Glass eye?
They gave me a box once. Scary. I know you don't have to believe me. But I need to know that I've done something right. I need validation for all of this.
We need to read your diary. Once we've read it, we'll be able to make some decisions. Because we need proof.
I can give you one thing. I stole this.
What's the significance of this one?
These are pictures. I could steal phones in a flash, but I couldn't keep them hidden for very long. I could hide those memory cards really easily.
Have you ever looked back at them?
No. Never. They're not all going to be pictures of me. I might just be in one or two. I might be in the background of when they photographed me randomly with their children. I got a few of those.
How many is a few?
4, 5 maybe? I was feral on the beach. I did what I was told, but I made lots into jewelry, actually. You see, when you were on the beach, the hotels just had random things for kids to do, like arts and crafts. I'd make things with the kids I befriended. I'd stick the cards inside them or put them inside souvenirs in the shops, like ornaments.
Did you steal a lot?
Every day when we were on the beach. No one would suspect me when I was little. They'd think I was just a cute pirate girl. I mean, I could speak English. They never taught me Spanish, but it didn't matter on the beach. And I never really got to grips with Polish at all. That's why they screamed at me so much. I didn't know what they were saying.
This is your truth, isn't it? This is the truth. Nothing is verified. Nothing is confirmed. This is basically like a charity shop jigsaw. Look, there are so many pieces of the puzzle missing, it's untrue.
Dale, it's Holly. Listen carefully. Now, this is the state of play. We've obviously done the hard part. She's away from the family, out of Europe, and embassies are starting to get interested in her. She loves the hotel, and she's in there for the duration by the looks of things. If we do go live, you have the TV studio booked on standby for the next 4 days. If it doesn't happen in the next 4 days, trust me, it's not going to happen. You also have the theatre booked for interviews and rehearsals, plus the usual dull rooms in the offices.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dale Torrance. For the past few weeks, I've been calling myself Nick Varro and digging up the dirt on a case I never believed would be resolved in my lifetime. What we've got for you this evening is not live. It's very much real, and we are here tonight because we might do something unprecedented. You might be the only people who ever watch this show, because for the purposes of dignity and the media frenzy our program could generate,
We might not broadcast. What I am sure you will agree is an incredible conclusion to one of the stories that has gripped UK news media in the 21st century.
I've talked to legal, and base point will be Camden. With an extra day at the park in Kent she's talked about. Anyone you speak to, the whole operation is happening in Kent. We don't want our locations to be public. Luckily, you did that initial blitz on her. The diary and those memory cards, that was a bit out of the blue. We really weren't expecting that, but the advantage is we've had a few weeks to look at the diary, not a few hours, so analysis is essentially ready. From this point on, we've effectively got her for 3 days, but we're looking to be nothing but reactive to any developments. The mother is interested, but we'll have to wait and see. I'll be keeping tabs on the Zoom calls. I hate to be blunt, but those new researchers might not get the scale of this one. Otherwise, I'll be there for countdown, so I'll speak to you when things get important. See you. Anything else you need, just call us.
Heya. Do I have to say anything?
Yes. You're going to have to say quite a lot. You are making some extraordinary claims.
But you believe me, right?
Circumstantially, I believe most of your story. Factually, I'm skeptical. But that doesn't mean my opinion won't change when the facts do.
Keynes.
Keynes.
The quote you're using. It's an economist. From all the conversations we've had so far, you like using quotes from Keynes, Bernays and Shakespeare. No one else really gets a look in.
It's a very acute observation.
Don't expect me to make any more. Might have just read a quote book. Anyway, my head wanders a lot.
What do you mean your head wanders?
I guess I daydream. Lose my way.
When did things stop being bad?
10.
Okay. Before 10. after 10. Can you split it like that?
Yeah. Simply, before 10 was hell, after 10 was heaven. Now is possible purgatory.
Before 10. Any specifics?
They all made it seem normal. And then, once that naivety was gone, they stopped.
Who stopped?
Men. Impressionable women. Sadistic women. Dysfunctional men. Drugged men who didn't know what they'd got themselves involved with. People with money. People with not much money. People who were just sick. People who just wanted to take advantage. I was very aware that I could have left at about age 6.
So why didn't you?
I'd stopped being naive. These people saw that I understood what was happening. They arranged a family. We were all promised families, but this man and his girlfriend, they would have killed me, so I started being naive again. And then those people wouldn't let me go. I made myself useful, and then they started disappearing. Police started catching them all over Belgium. And then this woman got to know about me. And she made it out to her husband that I was this daughter she gave up at birth and was unable to care for.
And all this still before 10?
Yes. This happened in Belgium, northern and southern France. I can tell you all the cars.
All the cars? How?
Wheel rims. Registration plates. Badges in special numbers printed inside the dashboards of cars. You see, we were all blindfolded, but we could still see gaps. And the more I concentrated on remembering, the easier it was to black it all out.
Any faces?
I've seen pictures that I wanted to scream at in the newspaper for a long time, but I never knew why.
We might have to look up other low-profile abductions. If you can find out where she was, she might have been an unwitting accessory.
Jesus. This is getting complicated.
I don't think she is who she claims to be. If anything, I think she might have known her, and because of similarities, she's taken on the persona of her friend.
So you're speculating about her as a child?
At base, children are not much different from adults. Children seek role models, they copy behavior. This girl has led a harrowing life, but to me, her story is brilliantly constructed. It's not false, but rather built on embellishment.
But she's not a liar.
She's invented a facade for her personality that she has to protect. The facade is who you see. The real person, who she is, who she was, who she might have been, they're just not present anymore.
Well, I have to bow to your more qualified opinion. I'm not going to challenge the beginnings of your assessment, but what we need to decide is, do we put this girl on television tomorrow and shake the memory of the public to fill in the gaps, or do we step back and give our efforts to a police force who have achieved less in 15 years than we've achieved in 15 days? She's not the person the public wanted her to be, but maybe her testimony could break a European trafficking ring that's operated with impunity for the past 20 years.
Nobody's going to argue with that angle.
Provided she is telling the truth.
I was dumb for quite some time. I mean, I stayed silent. Selective mutism? It meant the kids and the teachers didn't have to ask so many questions. Instead, they built up the narrative around who I was day to day. Not the fact that I was passed from pillar to post and room to room for 5 years.
And before 10?
Until I was settled with a family. I think the idea was that they just hid us in plain sight, made sure we were always polite and well-dressed in towns or attractions, but scruffy little munchkins on the beach. I can't really remember French. I've blocked out most French words.
What about the person who wanted you as their child? Is this the person you've walked away from?
The person I've walked away from. She says she's my real mother, but I know she's not. She guided me, taught me, looked after me, but I know she acquired me because I was older and riskier to deal with. Her dead sister, the woman who originally wanted me, dumped me on her. She was dying. You see, 1 week I had a friend. 2 months later they were gone. Then I made more friends. Then the lady I was with died. All the children I met, they're in the book. You see, we were all taught in little groups. That was what was so weird about it. They weren't just brainwashing us, they were conditioning us. There were older kids too.
So it was kind of like a school.
No, it was more like a rich kids club with a private tutor. Except none of the kids were rich and the life expectancy was so low. So about 100 kids over the years. Maybe I saw a third of them 1 week and then never saw them again. In my book, they're the kids who crashed their cars. That's how I knew who was dead or not.
Okay, we're gonna stop.
No need. You'll fade long before me. This runs around my head all day. I'm very good at disassociating from things. You see, I've always been precocious, and that's what I believe protected me. I kept going. Because mentally I wasn't there for anything but memories before age 10. And I've got to be honest. It was only my not real grandmother who triggered me. Honestly, since I've got out of the ring, I've led a pretty normal life. At least, I think I have. I now know that I was someone's daughter, and that I was taken away from them when I was little. And now I'm back on the path that says I'm going to be with that family again.
Okay, slow down. What if it's not true? I mean, I've got to ask you everything from every angle. How are you going to react?
All I can say is she's still out there. She doesn't not want to come home, but home is a very different place for her now. If I am her, I just hope I'm someone close to their expectations.
Okay, well, let's break for something to eat and reconvene with another talk after lunch.
Will we talk like this again? I like it here.
I know you like it here. It's why we chose it. Tomorrow we go to the park that you said you remember as a child.
What was your first memory?
Definite memory? My 3rd birthday. I was poorly in bed and my granddad slowly came up the stairs to give me a present.
What was it?
It was a car with a key in it. You squeezed the key and the car fired out. It had a ramp too, so the car could jump.
Do you remember what car it was?
It was a black Pontiac Trans Am.
Has a Firebird on it.
I believe so.
My Firebird was white. That's a cool car. I had the back seat all to myself. I was forgotten about that weekend. Are you going to find my book?
I personally won't find it, but someone will be scouring the shelves.
I did something extra clever in it. Something that maybe most 9-year-olds won't do on their own.
What did you do?
There's another name puzzle. It asks, what is Matilda's real name? Life was actually quite normal until my grandma started talking about something that triggered things. I looked up all the reports and compared myself. I'm that little girl in that picture. And if that's not me, then I'm still someone else's daughter because I just don't belong to the life I've come from.
Be under no illusions. Time is of the absolute essence.
Where do you think we look for the book?
Get online. If I had a UK print, it's going to be in a shop somewhere. Find it.
Hi, I'm July.
July or Julia?
July. Research. Bizarrely, my sister has that book.
Explain, what do you mean?
My older sister, she's got 2 daughters. The eldest one has got that book. But they live in Manchester.
Well, it's a good start. Get her to scan it, film it, copy it, fly down with it. We need to see a copy of that book to find out if it is actually genuine. You've got to see it in person.
I found a PDF online as well.
Deconstruct it. Is there a transcript of our conversation ready yet? Every word, and I mean every word she has said, we have got to pull apart. I need you to see if she is alluding to anything we've missed. All I want you to do is tell me that she is not lying.
Just at a glance, I think that book is everything she says it is.
Start collecting copies of it, because that's a trophy. You've got to make it scarce.
How is it a trophy, exactly?
Come on. It's an award to these sort of people. Make the connection.
Sorry, I wasn't thinking of the book as a reality.
All right, well, look. I want her to have a good sleep this evening. So for absolutely everyone, we're going to have a 10 p.m. curfew. Don't work beyond that. There's no point.
We won't get enough done in time.
This girl has been gone for 15 years. We don't need to jump to a conclusion in 15 hours. So far, she has given us nothing but confusion. And the final thing. We all know who she might be. But let me make this clear. You only call her
Presence.
So, before or after 10, where would you like to begin?
He was wearing trainers. He got distracted.
So, this is what you remember of the night you were taken?
I think he was only there in the room to steal, but the way that he saw me and snatched me I was in darkness a lot, and we moved at night, so we were in a camper van. And then when we stopped, I was sometimes put in a little tent. I never ran away. I was obedient because I guess it was a survival mechanism. But that was the first few years. This park isn't the park I remember.
Did the park have a name?
Something Great Park.
As you've just heard, she knows this isn't the park near her childhood home.
Hi, Rick. It's Dale Torrance. I just got a quick update for you. I've been to the park with her. Now, every map service online gives us a pretty good match of the route. Give or take whatever local changes have happened over 15 years or so, you can safely say she has walked the journey she was describing. The landmarks all match up. If it was the park they always went to when she was little, I have no problem whatsoever believing that as a truth. It's not coincidental. It's not fantasy. The information is 100% accurate. Now, whether it is her story or a story that she has learnt from another child, that is what is up for questioning.
And another thing, you know, you've probably heard of this already separately, but the book's on its way to us. Somebody picked up a copy locally. It still sells enough in print to be in a lot of places, so there's a reality. We've got to scrutinize it at arm's length. Yeah, the publishers are getting woke to the bone. They find it has a connection to this case. It's going to disappear overnight. Yeah. Then, if anything is substantiated, the police are going to start their investigation ramped.
Child trafficking ring linked to the heart of European book publisher.
Well, that's a bit of a new direction, right? Yeah. Okay. I'll speak to you later. All right, bye.
Hello.
I know who you are, and I know you don't do this without good reason. So tell me what you think is going on.
I think we found evidence that could definitely progress any future official investigation. My team can't just share this with you in an email. You need to see it in situ. I can describe it to you, though.
Is it important enough for me to see?
Yes.
Tell me what it is, then.
It's a sequence of photographs taken in May 2007. It's all at the resort, and the composition indicates you were followed and surveilled for what appears to be 2 days, right up until the moment your daughter was taken. Now, the smoking gun, as we would call it, is the continuation of the photographs with her present. We have more. We aren't involved with any aspect of the original investigation.
We want to come and see what you have. Can we do that?
Of course.
Do you have her there?
She's opposite me.
Could it be her?
The evidence we have is definitely worth coming to see. But currently, we only think there's maybe a 3 or 4% chance it's her. Everything is circumstantial.
We have partial content of mobile phones that were used by persons potentially involved. It's a very different story to what's been considered previously.
How different?
What we've got here is a young girl who is telling us she spent her childhood living on French and Spanish beaches in a camper van before being sold to another family aged 10. Lots of things align, lots of questions hang, but the life she's describing appears to be accurate.
How healthy is this girl?
She's well. She no longer has the identifying features your daughter once had.
Explain.
She lost an eye before she was 6 and has scar tissue where moles were surgically removed. These changes happened when she was still a very young girl.
And that's just a 3 or 4% chance it's her.
I think we've picked up pieces of the puzzle. We might be able to establish total authenticity of the phone files, but there's something else. This girl is exceptionally intelligent.
And you don't think my daughter would be?
I'm concerned she has been taught well enough in recent years to manufacture the whole thing. Do you understand? Look, my empathy is with you. I do not want to disappoint, and on this occasion you have called me, and I have never sought to intrude on you.
Well, we're going to come to see you. Where are you?
We can pick you up from the M25. If you can get to Clackett's motorway services, we'll take it all from there.
So where are you?
We are in Kent. We took her to a park and told her it was your park. You know the one? Her favourite park?
Yes, I know the one.
Well, she knew we'd taken her to the wrong park. She then described the journey from your house to the park.
And you only think that's a 3 or 4% chance it's her?
She is exceptionally intelligent. And I have to be honest. That makes everything so much harder to believe.
We know one thing. You're somebody. You're not who you're documented as, that's for sure.
But I'm not her.
On evidence gathered, right now we rate you at around a 3% match. I'm sorry, we just have to work with the facts. Look, we signed on to prove who you are, and we're going to stand by that.
I've got another memory card.
That would help.
You have to break it apart to find it, but it's in there. I think the photos are from 2007.
We'll start looking after this.
I think I'll be a 93% match in a moment.
That's confident. Where did the card come from?
Tonio? They're the photos that he took of the apartment he stole me from. Tonio had that phone for years, but then the battery started to wear out, so I took my chance. I said I'd fix it for him, and I did, but I swapped the cards. He never noticed. He was just angry that he didn't copy his photos.
Listen, I'm with her now. All circumstances considered, she's fine, but look, we pass tomorrow, and you need a plan of what to do next.
She reached out to me. I took her seriously. No one else did.
I don't think that's important to her. She's competitive, and you've challenged her by questioning her. She wants to step up and prove everything now. She reminds you of Taryn, right?
No. I thought she did. I thought my judgment might be clouded because of that.
But that girl lives inside herself. She's not like Taryn, so I overcame that problem.
You can be reminded of her. It's allowed. Have you spoken to her lately? Does she know what's happening?
Different life. Look, I'm seeing my FBI data guy. Then Mother's home. We make a decision and wrap all this up. Okay?
Okay.
See you soon.
See you.
What happens now?
Nick is meeting a data analyst from the FBI shortly. Once they've talked, he'll give us the final say on things.
You mean Mr. Varro doesn't have the final say?
There's a hierarchy in production. Normally I'd be involved in the situation from an earlier point, but we've needed neutral research. Those people you were in the park with, they've clarified a few things.
But they're not important.
No. They don't make the decisions that Nick and I do.
And this FBI guy will give the okay?
Or not. This man is retired, but generally his opinion counts. And Nick will tell you himself, if he doesn't buy the facts, nobody will.
Okay, so we have to verify every element of what she says. Now, that's the task given. So what do we got? We got death threats, we got hatred. You know, and like I told you about all those other girls, she may have learned how she can use this to get attention. And that means she may be exploiting it for the thrill.
So what did you make of the memory cards?
They're a gold mine. Yeah. You know, there are answers to many crimes in that data. Specifically, we now have enough information to map everywhere in Europe that they travel from 2005 to 2010.
So, those memory cards, absolutely 100% for real.
Yeah. They have been ever since she gave them to you. Your people have been chasing tails. Now, I didn't want to say it straight out, but she's something.
We're on the same page. What do you think of the book?
Huh? Matilda's Diary of Cool Cars. Yeah, that's real. It's sick, but it's real clever, too. Whoever released that knew exactly what they were doing. It's like you said in that web call to everyone. It's a trophy. You never know what's really in there just by looking at it.
I'm curious. What exactly is so special about the book?
It's somebody's kill list. Yeah. Now, to the layman, it means nothing. So, take it from me. This is not for you.
I think I understand.
But you asked, so here's a copy of the transcript.
Shall I, avoid?
Yeah, something like that.
What about the diary itself? I mean, there's a lot of it.
Oof. Yeah, people power. But my team, they say yes. It's a real and consistent diary. Now, every page has been cross-referenced for people, places, dates, you name it. Everything said happened. Now, it's mainly factual, not too much fiction. In fact, we've now got enough information that we can match up dates and locations visually while we search. It's a surprisingly consistent account. But what? It's got no value. You see, it's written to a structure and then worked on backwards. So, the reliability of the evidence can only go back a couple of years.
Does that mean that she is lying?
No. It's all about the levels at which the evidence can be used. You see, she wrote down what she remembered. She didn't write it down when it happened, so she thought about it too much. She's written a too perfect account.
So what do? We just dismiss it?
You can dismiss the language, yes, that's just story time in the afternoon. But it's the pictures that make it. They're real. It's the lifetime of a kid, as if it were your own. Home movies included. You know, back in 2007, they got this picture of her being held up by a guy with TV cameras in the background. TV cameras. Pointing in the wrong direction. She was right behind them, all along. You know, these guys, they know exactly what they're doing. Because it's what they do.
You think we should broadcast?
Are you gonna bring in the mother?
She's on her way to us now.
Well, let's wait and see.
So what else?
Nick is going to interview your mother, and at an appropriate point you'll be called through. Or if the interview hasn't gone to plan, the meeting won't happen. You won't see this person.
And that's going to happen in the next few hours?
Yes.
So we just wait? You seem pretty calm about this.
I have to be.
Who's Taryn?
Taryn was an actress who was kidnapped along with Nick a few years ago now.
But Nick Varro isn't his real name, is it? Dale Torrance, right?
Dale Torrance. How did you find that out?
I used to use different names on the beach all the time. See, a few years back when everything was normal, Taryn was my favourite name. Back in Poland one summer, I saw Dale on his old TV show. That's the only reason why I talked to him. I knew who he was. I knew he might take me seriously. But the kidnapping, that actually happened, didn't it?
Yeah. He was lucky. Taryn was very ill.
But they were old friends, right?
They've known each other a long time. Things were complicated.
Can I tell you something to tell Dale when this is all over? But you have to promise to tell him a few months from now, okay?
It's not important enough to tell him now.
It is, but there's no point because it might just throw things. You see, when people get this information, they might jump on it. And then I'll be pushed to the bottom of the barrel and ignored again.
What makes you so convinced?
I grew up around criminals who thought that they were normal people. I'm a product of environment, so maybe I wasn't so innocent. Maybe I knew what I was doing. But everything doesn't fit with me anymore. Do you understand? Look, Dale can't know any of this. He's doing what he does, but I know something that he would want to know.
I can give him a call. I can bring him
No,
there.
it's something different.
Are you sure? This can't affect the interview he's about to conduct.
It won't.
Are you sure?
Yes. And you can't tell him for a few months. In Poland, my mother had this one friend who was a dancer, but she had a bad knee. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but maybe when I was 12, we used to go to appointments with her in Germany all the time because this woman, she couldn't walk. So she'd have operations with this one doctor for a year or so, but it turns out that they couldn't fix her knee. This woman, she got so depressed, and then she went away for ages. And when she did return, she looked different. Like tons of plastic surgery different. I haven't seen her since, but I know she's still alive.
Why would Dale care about any of this?
Because that woman played Jean Harlow in his TV show.
Okay. I can see how this would change things.
Jacqueline Reynolds, right? Jackie? I don't know what this woman changed her name to, but I know she changed the way that she looked.
Is this true?
If I didn't have that connection, I don't know I would have trusted anyone. I know how all of this works, and I know that Dale had gone through something bad, so...
You trusted him?
He wasn't the only person who wanted to investigate me. So I waited until all the stories about me died down, and then I walked away. I can't go back to that family. I've burned all my bridges with them. I'm pretty convinced of who I was, even if it's not who I am now.
Now, most of my entourage, they don't usually work with names as such. It's kind of how we keep on top of things. Now, our analysis is very different to police and the government approach. Do you understand?
Yes.
But look, we'll get straight to it. On here, these are some of the photos that we've acquired. Now, there's a lot, but in the first instance, would you agree that the people in those pictures are you, your husband, and your friends?
Yes. How many more?
There's lots, but we can't show you them just yet, as they might affect your emotional stance.
Do they show her?
Unfortunately, it hasn't been my job to review them, so I don't actually know. We have accumulated over 1,600 separate pieces of evidence that suggest this girl lived beach to beach in a camper van with two men for a number of years until 2012. At this point, she was sold, fully documented, to a Norwegian couple who were then forced through a medical event to pass her on to a family based in Poland who apparently cared little for her. This girl was clearly trafficked across Europe from a very early age. It also does appear that her captors educated her. They also taught her how to recruit other children. She's developed a survival instinct that just couldn't have been presented to her before her 4th birthday. Now, I have to ask, am I overwhelming you?
Do you think it's her?
No. For her benefit, I really do think you need to see her, but only because you have the unique experience of having gone through this. This girl is the other side of the looking glass. And you might be able to make the difference between this girl leading a happy life or this girl falling into the depths of despair.
You know how we've been treated. You know we don't usually come out for this charade anymore.
We've spent a few £100,000 analysing everything this girl has said, including all of the memory cards and photographs she's provided us with. Her diary, 21,000 pages, written over a number of years, assessed by academics from across the world, pulled apart, word by word, page by page. Photographic experts, one picture only, full breakdown, who, what, why, where, when. Complete technical analysis, location verification if possible. That is how thorough we are on things. But I am also cynical, which is why I don't rate her at any more than 3%. Now, that's thousands spent to say, I think there is no more than a 3% chance that this girl is who she claims to be.
So why are we here then?
Because I also believe that truth is stranger than fiction. And I think one question will tell me all I need to know.
Ask me then.
I ask you this question. You have to give me an instant answer. Do you agree to that?
Yes.
As a child, the best birthday present I ever got was the first one I remember. What present was it?
Sylvanian families. Is that it?
Yes. For now, that's it. Of the thought.
Where did you find out about that? There's no way anybody would have known to ask me that. That was her 3rd birthday present.
She volunteered that information. She also knew that we were in the wrong park. I am cynical, yes, but I can only empathize with your trauma, which is why I have to try and rationalize this. There's a girl in this building who isn't a girl anymore. She is a young woman seeking answers. She might not be who she thinks she is, but I've done everything in my power to get us to this point now. So if you can just give her a moment of your time, maybe we can all move on.
Ask her which Sylvanian family she wanted.
I have no idea.
It was the hamsters. She was only allowed the bigger ones.
One moment, please.
Hamsters. I was only allowed the larger ones because otherwise my brother and sister might have chewed on the smaller ones.
Do you still want to see your parents?
If they want to see me, yeah. But I think you should tell them that I'm not going to be who they remember.
Now, I need you to remember that this is an adult you're about to meet, and we have no conclusive proof that this is your missing daughter. I don't want you to be distressed. I want you to be rational.
It's okay.
Okay?